November 13th, 2023, Township of Hamilton Committee meeting to order. Please rise for the flag salute. Mr. Cheek. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law by posting notice of this meeting on the bulletin board in the municipal building, by faxing notice of this meeting to the Press of Atlantic City and the Star Ledger on January the 6th, 2023, and by publication in the Press of Atlantic City and Star Ledger on January 9th, 2023. Mr. Cheek.
Here.
Mrs. Link.
Here.
Mr. Schenker.
Here.
Dr. Witherspoon. Mayor Patali.
Here. Moment of silence for private reflection. Thank you. Guest presentations, we have none. Proclamations. We have one proclamation here. And this is for Mr. Phil Sartoria.
He knew it.
So, you know what? Since you don't want to do this, I'm going to make you get up and stand up.
If you'd never told me that, I would have wore a tie at least.
Whereas, Phil Sartorio began his career with the Township of Hamilton on September 15, 2003, as Director of Community Planning and Economic Development. Whereas, after 16-plus years, Phil left the Township in 2019 to pursue personal ventures, and whereas, in February 2023, Phil rejoined the Hamilton team during a time of need to help navigate the Township toward success. And whereas, Phil has honorably and faithfully served the Township as Director of Community Development, Municipal Housing Officer, Zoning Officer, as well as many capacities for almost 18 years. And whereas, after all his dedication and hard work, Phil Sartoria has decided to finally move on from his duties to the Township to enjoy a well-earned retirement that will be marked by more time spent with family and friends. And now, therefore, be it proclaimed that we, the Township Committee of the Township of Hamilton, County of Atlantic, State of New Jersey, on this day, November 13th, 2023, recognize Phil Sartorio in honor of his devotion to the residents of the Township of Hamilton. We take this opportunity to express our heartfelt appreciation for a job very well done, and we hereby offer to Phil our congratulations on his upcoming retirement and our best wishes to him for continued success, happiness, and good health in the years to come.
I just have.
Put it on your door so you remember not to go to work.
I just want to say that first off, I'm honored. I appreciate it. I'm glad that the township has taken this kid from Egg Harbor City and sort of made me one of your own. I also want to acknowledge the fact that he's smart enough to know what he doesn't know, and that's why he asked me. And continuing the tradition of folks like Ed Sestelli, who picked him out when he was, well, not quite 12. But I think when he was working in the stormwater basin, where he's got a bucket that's extended beyond its range, almost tipped up, getting things to work. So, you know, thank you for bringing me back. It's been an honor. You're not rid of me totally. There's still things that are going to be coming up on the next few agendas where I may show up. But I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Phil.
Addition, deletion of late agenda items to be considered for action tonight. We have an addition, 7BB, resolution of support for community solar project at 4215 Black Horse Pike, Hamilton, that's Hamilton Commons, and deletion of 5B, introduction of ordinance 2057-2023. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against? Ayes have it. Early public comment. Do we have anything?
We have Jack Percy for 3A.
That's okay. I think you have the dates a little wrong on that declaration. I think it was the second master plan that was written for this township. The first one was written by people from Trenton. Along came another company by the name of what was? Come on, Karabashian Associates. Oh boy! And this young fella by the name of Sartorio was working for them. What was that date? Back in 1920? No. But Elaine, remember when he had hair? He was at Oakcrest. But Phil's been around for a long time, and we appreciate the opportunity of giving you a little shot once in a while. The reason why I stand is this 3A is the discussion, the pay per run program for the Township of Hamilton, the volunteer firefighters. I'm privileged to sit on the Emergency Services Advisory Board, and I've listened to the comments pro and con of this going back and forth, and I really support this this idea of helping the guys at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning when it's snowing out, it's 0 degrees, and they still get out of bed, and they get the engines going, and they go to the fire. I remember doing it when I was a young fella too. And we didn't have those opportunities, but this is an opportunity to give your firefighters a little something upbeat and support them in their activities. You know, and even as an ancillary to that, you might even consider at some future date a program where you might give a bonus to these people who have never been involved before for volunteering. And I don't know, the attorney would have to figure out whether you can do this or you can't do it. I know, for example, just as an example, the Coast Guard has a problem filling chefs' positions, people who make food for the guys who are out on the cutters or on the stations. And they were offering a $65,000 bonus for anybody who would sign up. And I'm not going to that extent, but maybe some sort of a little bonus program for somebody who signs up for the first year. They get like a $25 bonus. When they make firefighter 1, they get a $50 bonus, something like that. Something to incentivize some of the younger people who may not want to volunteer per se, but they would like to maybe get a little bit of pocket money to have. So, again, making a short story long, 3A, I support this this pay-per-run program for the volunteer firemen. Just wanted to let you know that.
Thank you.
Get my way back. So.
Aileen Dix for 3B, 5C, and 7X.
Taking 3B first, I rise to really, really oppose what I thought stopped back in February when a subcommittee was appointed and the subcommittee was coming up with the new plan on how things would be reviewed. And then in July, you adopted what I call the bubble chart. This proposed project, which has at least 3 different names, so it's a little hard to follow. I want to give you the chronology based on the public records that I have from your public records and the Pinelands public records. Number 1, the first filing to the Pinelands by this project on the Black Horse Pike is dated April 25th, 2022. That's 19 months ago. Number 2, in July of 22, 17 months ago, there was a workshop under a planning board application number 2022-13. Number 3, on August 15th, you adopted MOUs for Trophy Park and for this project. Number 4, February 3rd of 2023, there was an executive session. When you came out, Carl, you announced February 3rd that there was no action taken on the various items, which included the cotton mill, fresh cuts, cannabis, Hutton Street, Trophy Park, Brett Knoll, the Teamsters, a whole host of things. The only comment was made was no action was taken on the items and Trophy Park was allowed to expire. If Trophy Park on August 15th of 22 was expiring in February of 23, so was this project. So my position is you took no action and no action since February to reactivate the MOU. Let me continue with the chronology because I don't think you have what I have. And what I have is, as I said, from your records and the Pinelands records. The Pinelands conceptual plan was received at the Pinelands October 21 of 2022. In addition, in the county clerk's records, there's a joint venture between the owner of record 4148 Black Horse Pike LLC and Volunteer Way LLC, which is one of the Scarboroughs. Number 8, easements. This tract fronting on the Black Horse Pike has a DOT stormwater easement. It has now a new easement in June of 22 for that traffic camera thing where they report to your computers. Number 3, there is a carved out easement with 3 billboards that is a perpetual easement done by the owners at that time. I'm going to say J&M, Betty Simon, that group. They carved out a perpetual easement. Pete Dulce did the surveying work, and his drawing, which is in my possession right now, that I pulled off the county clerk, is it's fronting on the pike. So that's a carve out. That's 3 easements. The fourth one, which is the reason I have focused on this since day one when I saw it on the Pinelands, the weekly summary. You probably never thought when you were at the airport and you flushed the toilet, where did it go? It used to go for decades and decades and decades and more time than I could imagine to our gravelly run watershed down off of McKee Avenue behind the country club. Bet you didn't know that. There's a force main coming from the airport down Delilah and Old Delilah Road into the Black Horse Pike, crossing the pike and crossing this property, and then going through another property on McKee Avenue, and then it connects now, since 1992, into the ACUA pump station. And FAA, for your information, paid, they thought it was free, no, $477,179 as a connection fee to come into our project, ours HTMUA project. That's a fact. proposing on lot 1301, which fronts on McKee Avenue, you already have the sewer force main going across it. They're proposing that lot 1301 would become a part of 1301 would become an easement. Has anybody provided a draft engineering drawing of, and meets and bounds of what the easement would be, and as to whether the owner of the property, a lady in Atlantic City, would agree to all this? The use of 1301, the portion under the easement, is the FAA sewer main and new water and sewer mains for HTMUA based on looking at the drawings that I got from the Pinelands. And now add an ingress-egress off of McKee Avenue into the back of these proposed businesses on the pike. This project's been under design based on these documents from the Pinelands since July 9 of 2021, more than 2 years ago. So why are we trying to do all 3 steps tonight when this is already more than 2 years old? I am suggesting you have to do your due diligence. This committee, not the planning board, you need to have your traffic engineer do the due diligence with NJDOT to see if the 2 proposed driveway openings onto the pike, ingress and egress both times, will DOT permit 2 more ingress egress at that location right next to AutoZone? Critical answer before we get into this. And then also, what's the traffic engineer's opinion of opening a double ingress egress onto McKee right across from Volunteer Way? I don't understand how all this legal work has continued since you had the executive session on February 3rd. I just got my Oprah of the paid Malley-Givens bills. I just got it and looked at it after 4:30 today. And as I look at some of the names that Emily was talking to, K. Burr, B-E-R-R. Who's that? There's a Johnson name on here. Who's that? How are we negotiating? How is Emily negotiating a redevelopment agreement, the draft which on these bills, her draft was in January, before your executive session. When did you ever sit down and discuss privately or publicly the parameters of a redevelopment agreement? There's so many conflicts regarding the real estate. Underground conflicts is what I'm referring to very clearly. How can pipes run across sewer force mains, et cetera, et cetera? You need to do some studies at this level before you take the next step and we have another boondoggle. And making sure that 1301 is in full agreement. I would assume, knowing Pinelands has to have, if you're not the owner when you file, you have to have a document saying the owner permits you to be filing this. So, does that exist? I mean, there's a house on this 1301, and I'm assuming that you do have that. That red line that I think you can all see from there, this bump out is where the easement would be. This is what's fronting on the pike. I'm asking you not to do this tonight. I'm asking you, for the sake of the town and for yourselves, to start by having your traffic engineer get the answers about the ingress and egress on the pike before you take the next step. There's no reason to hurry. This has been going on for well over 2 years. And if it goes into next year before there's a decision that yes, we can proceed with this, that's fine. But I think there's big trouble here. Meaning big real estate trouble. And I want to avoid any other issues with the town. Meaning with the potential legal problems. Any questions? Art?
No.
All right, thank you.
Anybody else?
There were
I'm sorry,
other.
I'm sorry.
My intent of what I just said covered all 3 of referring it to the planning board and already introducing the ordinance before they even think about this. Thank you.
That's it.
Okay, moving on. Discussions. Formal action may be taken. Discussion, pay per run program for Township of Hamilton volunteer firefighters. Brett, is this something that you're prepared to jump into, or Greg?
I can talk. So basically, we
Rock, paper, scissors?
did an average of the last 3 years of calls for Mays Landing, Laureldale, Weymouth, and Cologne, and came up with a pay-per-run program that would compensate the volunteers for each run that they signed in on. You should have this information in front of you.
Yep.
Have any questions?
So basically what we're looking at is $5 per call, and then also additional compensation for each chief, assistant chief, the captains, lieutenant, safety officer, and then president, vice president, treasurer, secretary.
Is that per year?
Yeah, that would be per year. There's additional compensations
Per year.
per year. And like I said, $5 per call.
With the capitation.
Oh, okay.
There's a budget capitation on there of 53.2
Fif-
for the cost.
For total budget, yeah, for total calls, 53.2. So the budget for 2024 would be 62.2. And this is kind of a jumping off point to get our feet wet and see what we can do with this and see where we can go from there. I think Jack made some pretty good ideas, had some other good ideas in there that could be looked at. Trying to get it, back in the day, it wasn't a problem getting volunteers. Back when I joined back in 1998, I would get to the firehouse and I would be the low man on the totem pole. I wouldn't even get on a truck. I just sat there because I wasn't there long enough. Sit down, boy. You don't know what you're doing. So nowadays we're begging for, not me anymore, but they're begging for guys and women to jump on those trucks and get out the door. So back then it wasn't as hard to go through firefighter one. It wasn't as intense. Now it's I don't even know how many hours it is anymore. I know it's a couple nights a week, and I think it's every Saturday. Whereas when I did it, it was 2 nights a week, and I think 5 Saturdays out of 3 months. Yeah, so it's a big difference now. So it's not that easy. So we really got to figure out a way to get people to join, and then go through the minimum requirements. And then, of course, if you want to go any further, if you want to be a captain or move up and lieutenant and a chief, there's even more training you have to do, and it's just not it's not as easy this day and age. The requirements that we have from the state for everybody, you can't, like I said, some people you're not even allowed on the truck. You're not even allowed to go fight a fire until you have firefighter one. So it's this is quite an endeavor that we have to figure out what to do and get people to come join and keep us as volunteer firefighters, so we don't have to turn the page and put a paid crew together, because I don't think anybody's going to like to see what the budget's going to be for that. That's going to be that would be intense. So we need to figure some things out here. Does anybody have any comments or?
I think this is long overdue. Myself and I think everyone up here We're always quick to thank the firefighters for what they do, the time that they spend, but I think we're at a time where thanks isn't enough, and we need to, and like Carl said, this is a good jumping off point, and we can revisit this as time goes on. But we do need to encourage volunteers to come in, and we need to, show them we appreciate it. So I think this is a great first step.
I agree with Mr. Shanker.
I think we need these incentives to get people to volunteer, and I think it would be something to start with. I'm not sure $5 per call is enough, but it's something. So, yeah, I would agree that it is something we have to strongly consider and to figure out how it's to be enforced.
So is this something we're all in agreement upon to introduce the ordinance at the next meeting?
Yeah.
I say yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Need a motion? Or we just...
No, we don't need it.
Bring it on next meeting.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. And thank you to everybody who worked on that. I know this was a long time coming. A lot of work was put into this. ESAB board and all the chiefs and Greg. So thank you to them, and hopefully by the end of the year we'll have an ordinance squared away for that. B. Hutton Street 21 LLC informal presentation of the revised redevelopment plan. Block 1317, lots 1301, 1302, and 15. It's Mod Wash.
Good evening. My name is Christopher Burr. I'm an attorney with the law firm Deltuca Lewis and Burr, and I'm here tonight on behalf of Hutton ST 21 LLC. I'm here tonight with John Lombardo from Hutton and Bill Moore, our engineer. So Hutton proposes to redevelop the property at 4148 East Black Horse Pike, which is block 1317, lots 13.01 and 13.02 on your tax map. Got a rendering of the proposed development up on the screen here tonight. And as you are well aware, this is a vacant, partially wooded parcel located on the Black Horse Pike. It's been vacant and underutilized for a really long time, in excess of about 20 years, we believe. In 2020, the township established this parcel as a redevelopment area with the stated purpose of encouraging investment and redevelopment of this parcel, among others. So my client, Hutton, entered into an agreement to purchase this property with the owner and proposes to redevelop the site with a new Mod Wash Express car wash. So we've approached the township, have been in discussions with the township to amend the existing redevelopment plan to provide for this proposed development on the site. And this is the proposed development which we are here to discuss tonight. So, so first, who is Hutton? Hutton is a developer who is developing mod washes in multiple towns throughout New Jersey and in South Jersey in particular. They've identified this site as a site that would work really well for their operations, and they are hopeful to become part of pardon me, to become part of your business community and bring this property back into productive use. So what is ModWash? ModWash is a state-of-the-art sustainable express car wash, which which emphasizes sustainability. They reclaim and recycle a substantial portion of the water used in the car wash operations. They use environmentally friendly cleaning solutions in the car wash use. And as to the operations, so this is not a self-serve car wash operation. It's an operation that is staffed by employees at all times. The site is open. It's a new model in the car wash world where customers can pay for a single wash at the point of sale, or they can enter into a subscription membership program to permit washes on demand, essentially, at any of the ModWash locations. So a membership at this site would also work, for example, in Millville or Cherry Hill or Bridgeton or any other towns in pardon me, in New Jersey or elsewhere. Customers entered the site. There is staff present at the point of sale to help direct them in the purchasing process, assisted through the car wash tunnel, and cars circulate through the tunnel, which is depicted on the plan there in brown. They circulate through the site and end up in a vacuum area, which provides for self-serve vacuums, which are available to customers free of charge. So the proposed hours of operation are typically 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., 7 days a week, which is consistent with what would be proposed at this site. Now, sorry, Phil. Sure. Now, up on the screen now, this is a copy of the most recent architectural elevations showing you what the proposed ModWash building would look like. This is, so you see at the top, on the top right-hand side, that's the view of the property, or the view of the car wash tunnel for a car entering. On the top left-hand side is the elevation of the car wash tunnel exit, and the bottom, or the middle image is the side of the building opposite the vacuums, and the bottom is on the other side of the proposed tunnel. I want to point out because these elevations are the newest iteration of the elevations. They did not make it to the committee, I believe, in time to be included in the agenda packet, and so I wanted to present these here tonight to be sure that if and when you deem fit to introduce the ordinance, that I propose that these elevations be included with the proposed amended development plan. One other item I wanted to note with respect to the proposed redevelopment plan, and we did propose a change to section 6B1P of that proposed plan, which addresses a sanitary sewer easement that crosses the property. There was some language in the proposed plan that would have required that to be relocated. We've been in discussions with your attorney to soften that language such that we would work with the HTMUA on any requirements that they may have for that existing easement. So I did want to note those two changes as to the elevations and as to that section of the proposed redevelopment plan for your consideration. Now, that's a brief overview of who we are, what the proposed operations are. I did want to introduce our engineer, Mr. Gilmore, to speak in a little more depth as to the conceptual site plan that's here on the board.
Good evening. I'm William Gilmore, the project engineer. This is a color rendering, obviously, of the site. Excuse me. To orient you to the plan, north is from the lower right-hand corner up to the upper left-hand corner. The Black Horse Pike is on the top of the page, running horizontal, and on a 45-degree angle is McKee Avenue. So as Chris had mentioned, we're proposing a connector road from McKee through to the Black Horse Pike. And that connector road is in the master plan for the township. I think it's something that's been contemplated for a long time. And as when we entered into negotiations with the town to develop the amended redevelopment agreement, that was part of it that is maintained, and we're accommodating that. There is an easement that allows for the access through the residential lot, which is fronts along McKee Avenue.
Okay. So that's an existing easement. It currently exists.
That's existing.
101.
Yes, that was contemplated many years ago when I guess the town was trying to put the connector road through. So that was something that the town always desired, and it was set up and it made sense for Modwash to come in and take it forward and move it forward. There's a unique shaped parcel. There's wetlands on the track, 300 feet of the track from, I guess, the lower right-hand corner up until you see that blue color area. That's the basin. That's the wetlands line right there. So a lot of the track is encumbered with wetlands or wetlands buffers that make it really not usable. There's a defunct or formal, maybe a retail establishment or something that was where the Modwash is proposed now. There's remnants of parking overgrown on Kemp. There's a billboard on site, so I agree it is in need of rehabilitation. So what this particular layout proposes is a Modwash customer would either enter from the Black Horse Pike or from McKee. They would enter in the southern or the lower driveway area. That's the entrance to the site. There's a point of sale system that you would pull up into. And as Chris mentioned, if you were a customer of Modwash, you could go to the VIP lane. It would read your license plate through a reader. It would select your car wash. You'd be queued up when to enter. The gate would open. You proceed. That area is manned by personnel. If you needed some help first time there, didn't understand how the machine worked, there's someone there to guide you. If you dropped your card, you didn't have to get out of the car. So they would assist you there. You would just follow the directions. The gate would open. You proceed, turn left into the automatic car wash. You stay in the car. There's someone there also to direct you to come up to the proper location, to put it in neutral, don't touch the steering wheel. It automatically goes through. This particular model can service 5 to 6 cars at the same time. So it's why they call it express. There's no queue or line. People pull up and you roll right through. It's pretty seamless. When you exit the car wash at the left side of the building, you turn to the right. You have the option if you wanted to vacuum your car. That is the self-service part of it. You could pull up to one of the open areas. There's compressed air, vacuum, trash can there. There's also a part in the vicinity that supplies you with towels, cleaning agents, those type of things. So if you did not want to have the car wash, you just proceed after the exit, or when you're done, proceed after the exit. You make a left or a right. It's to make a right on the Black Horse Pike. If you want to make a left on the Pike, you would go through the collector road out to McKee to the trash plate, turn left. So it seems to work well for this particular use, just the unique shape of the lot. There is a remainder on the right-hand side. I think we had proposed a Jiffy Lube at one point, a small retail center. We'll still work with this layout. So water and sewer is available. There was mention to the FAA force main. It's a little hard to see, but it comes through McKee, and it kind of goes along the side right there on a 45-degree angle, up and then out. We had discussions with the different MUAs involved that service it and maintain it, and it seems best to leave it where it is, only because if they had to service it, if it was in the middle of the road, you have to tear the road up. If it's in the grass, they can get to it. It just seems like it's in a good place. The site works with it. I don't know if any other sites would work as well as the car wash use does with this, given the long, narrow shape of the building and its access. So it's pretty much simple operation, simple site.
Yeah. So just 2 things I'm going to ask you to clarify. So there was public comment earlier about. Oh, sorry. Absolutely, Bill. So there was public comment earlier regarding some existing easements on the track. One of which is the sanitary sewer easement that I just spoke to. Yep. The other being the access easement that we also just spoke to. But I just want to clarify, just so the township can hear and understand. We're aware of these easements. We've considered them as part of the design, and
Correct.
we know that the site still works with these easements.
That is correct. Yes, those existing easements that were put in place for access for the master plan road, that's still in place. It's still valid and accurate, and pursuing under those.
And, okay, thanks, Bill, that's all. So, so that concludes our informal presentation for you here tonight. We are, of course, happy to field any questions anybody may have. We're hopeful that the township is as excited for the proposed development as we are to hopefully become a part of your business community. And we do hope that the township does proceed to introduce the ordinance with the 2 amendments noted. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
No questions.
Can you be a little more clear where that force main goes?
Force main, so it crosses McKee.
Art, excuse me, Art, can you see the
Yeah, but
cursor?
let me get my binoculars out. No, I can't.
Okay.
I can see it now.
Yeah.
Maybe Chris can,
can see it.
can point to it.
Yeah, it's,
There you go.
is that it? Okay.
That's it. Yeah, you see how we aligned the driveway to accommodate.
Okay, so the force main is, if it ever fails for any reason, it's not going to be destructive.
Right,
Or
yeah,
never
and we laid
destructive.
it out. There was a lot of back and forth with different layouts on how. What does that look like if they have to maintain that? Does it close the car wash facility down and they work around it? And this was the best layout that we could get, that if they had to close a portion of the site still operable, they could work it out. Yeah, so again, if the force, if they do have to service the main, the majority of it is in one area, which would just facilitate that easier than the road. Now people are used to the road. Now the road's closed or under construction. So.
Do you happen to know what material that force main's made out of?
I don't recall what it is. Is it a water force main? I can't say.
Can you explain to me how people will get onto the Black Horse Pike safely from there?
Yeah, it's a stop-controlled intersection at the Black Horse Pike. Obviously, you cannot make a left out; you make a right out. So, at the appropriate gap time from the traffic signal that is westerly, that would provide gaps, and then you could make the right turnout when it was safe on the right. Again, there would be no left, there would be no cutting across the median. We're not proposing that. Access to the other side would be kind of around a loop to the traffic light.
Have you contacted DOT about this?
Yeah, as part of the Mod Wash team, we have a traffic engineer on board, and he is in the works with working that out with them. That would be, again, we have to get the access permit from them for the trips and all that's necessary from the NJ DOT to permit the drive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, before you build it, you gotta get that approval because.
Yes, it's simultaneous, right? We wouldn't be able to build it. So what typically happens, we would get our approvals, and then that would be an outstanding approval that we would need before we could ever construct. So if we couldn't get it, we would just not move forward.
Yeah, very good.
And just on that point, consistent with what Mr. Gilmore just mentioned, when we were to come in for the formal site plan approval from the planning board, at that time, the application would be supported by the findings and analysis of our traffic engineer, who would also be applying for the NJDOT permit.
Very good.
I have a couple questions and concerns. I just want to get some things on the record. Again, Bob Watkins, Township Engineer. So you're requesting a bunch of bulk requirements as part of the redevelopment plan, and if the board votes on them, they're going to go to the planning board for review and comment. The biggest concern I have is, one, that the location of Volunteer Way is not in stone, correct? As part of this redevelopment agreement plan.
The extension, our intent is to line it up with it as a...
The intersection at Volunteer Way existing will line up as you show it on McKee Avenue, but the curves and the radiuses of that roadway going out to the Black Horse Pike, I haven't reviewed it. I wasn't requested to design review this, but they're too tight.
Yeah, we'll soften them.
So those are some things. I just want to make sure that part of this redevelopment plan doesn't include that is it. The planning board doesn't have the right to change or request design, or the planning board professionals have the right to change the design of that.
Yeah, my understanding would
Okay.
be similar to any other applicant. The road is part of the application, so it would be under the purview of the.
Okay, so that has nothing to do with the location. The second thing is you are asking for a vacuum structures permitted within the 50-foot front yard setback, a minimum setback of 12 feet for vacuum structures. I just quickly looked up your mod wash in Vineland. Those vacuum structures that are in Vineland, are they proposed here?
I believe they're the same.
They're the same. All right. I highly am going to be against any of those structures being in the front yard from what those structures look like in Vineland. I can put that on the record as the planning board engineer as well. If you guys want to see those structures, I can show them to you just so you know. That's what they would look like along the Black Horse Pike. And so they have them actually going perpendicular to the roadway of Delsey Drive, not parallel. And I just cannot support the structures of this sort as part of this bulk requirements going forward to the planning board, because I'll definitely recommend not to grant that at the planning board part of that, if those are the structures that you're requesting to be put in the front yard. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so this is a vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be off to the side. So that's the only one that's centralized vacuum.
But these pink,
Yeah, and the vacuum tubes overhead.
those would all go there.
Booms that go up with have the lighting in it.
Yeah.
Yep, that's pretty much.
Yeah. That's something that I know that we don't want to see along the Black Horse Pike as a row, I think, in that area. So
Just so we can understand the concern, what is it about the vacuums that you wouldn't?
well, you're requesting us the board to move forward with this special requirement, and I think they need to see what you're asking, and not knowing what it's going to look like and how they're going to move this forward. I think at this time, if they want to go forward with it going to the planning board, that's fine. Planning board's going to see this more in detail to vote on, and it's going to come back to the committee with their recommendations. And I feel I can, clarify it all up for them then, and we can determine it. But I just feel that that's just something moving closer, 12 feet. I think you're moving 12 feet from the property line is what the requirement is being requested, correct? Yeah, 12 feet. Yeah. So that's just one thing I feel that I just don't support at this time. It's absolutely aesthetic. It's pink and black, bright pink, like your rendering. Is there pink, hot pink in the rendering of your building, or is that not?
Yeah, the sign colors do include.
The building. That's to the right. There you go. That pink, right? Okay. So it's just something that I really would be against these structures, all against the Black Horse Pike there, within 12 feet of the right of way. So I'm just wondering if you needed that many vacuums. And again, we're getting to design criteria and stuff, and I'm only bringing it up because you're asking for it as a bulk requirement. I wouldn't have brought it up if it wasn't a bulk requirement request. So in my opinion, you remove that out of this whole redevelopment plan, and you request a variance of some sort with the planning board and let the planning board determine it. That's what they're there for. I don't think the committee should be, Township Committee should be doing something in regards to that bulk requirements at this time.
So we're certainly agreeable if
Okay.
to discussing those types of changes. And I don't know if the preference would be to introduce the ordinance, hear the planning board's commentary when it goes to them for review, or to.
Yeah, they're going to have to comment on all of them. They may not like half of them. I don't know.
But yeah, so.
But that one I can tell you I don't like, and I'm definitely going to recommend not to grant that one. Okay, so.
But yeah, so our request would be to introduce the plan.
As is.
And we're happy, to the extent those comments exist, we'd be more than willing to work with the committee and the board to address those comments to everyone's satisfaction.
Mhm.
I think that would be,
Okay.
yeah, but I mean, we are certainly willing to hear and address those concerns.
Thank you.
Where on Delsey Drive is,
It's located at 105 Delsey Drive, finally.
105?
Delsey Drive. I believe it's south. Yeah, south. South.
Stops at the Denny's, actually.
Yeah.
That's one that we.
Be worth taking a look at.
2 years? Okay.
The
So,
building would be a little bit different. They have a gable style now, as opposed to just a long, straight, they had a fin sticking up on it.
Right.
So you'll see that's different, where this has more of a gable kind of roof line.
And this architectural plan is not part of the redevelopment plan at this point, or are you trying to include this architectural, just so the planning board knows when you present it to them, if they have comments and concerns, they might, you
Our
know.
request is for this to be
Okay.
included with the plan.
Because then it doesn't give them any leeway at the time. If they approve and recommend back to the committee that the redevelopment plan is good, they don't have any leeway after that to change what you're seeing. So I want to make sure that they know.
As Chris mentioned, this is a national product. This is a brand. This is what they call Tennessee, New Jersey.
You know, but New Jersey's not like Tennessee, and New Jersey's not, and Hamilton's not like Vineland. So I'm just saying we can always change things. But okay, yes, sir, Mr. Schenker.
so with your comments, what do you expect them to do to be able to bring this to something that would be more palatable?
I mean, it's really something with the structure being that close to the setback line, and the aesthetics of what it looks like along 175 foot or
Yeah,
25 foot building. Is that
They stand out. There's one down in Pleasantville, I think. Yeah, it pops.
Township.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess my question is, you know, if we move this forward, it seems to me that what you're bringing up is a substantial change.
It's something that may have to be moved backwards, or you know, maybe reduce the amount of structures along there. I don't know. This is the second rendition of this design of the plan, so which is a better plan. I think the entry of it and exit are way better. They
I agree
did
with
have
that.
exits and entrances off the Black Horse Pike, which I didn't recommend at all. I think this is a lot better, but seeing those structures, that it's going to look like a pink black wall across the Black Horse Pike frontage. So I don't know if that's the type of look we want, but I think the boards need to know that before we start granting a setback variance for that structure. That's all. Not a variance, I'm sorry.
Well, I agree with you. 12 feet off the road is.
Yeah, it's probably about 15 feet off of the curb line. 620, maybe. But it's pretty tight.
I think the easiest thing to do would be to flip it. No.
It's a really tight site.
Sure.
There's certain criteria on the vacuum rooms to the front. That's their market plan.
Mhm.
We would really appreciate hearing that up front now. That could have some implications on certain things.
Do you need that many vacuums?
With their model, I think they need 22. I don't remember how many that we have.
23.
23,
Yeah.
Definitely take that back to mod wash.
I just don't know if you can put enough landscaping in there to buffer that area. We would have to really work with the landscape architect and see how you can incorporate something along there.
You could look back at the site and see you have a lot of constraints, the wetlands,
Mhm.
our ability to have the frontage and the vacuum, that's the selling point. But again, it is tight, and to make the maneuverability, these sites are designed with maximum vehicles, a F-250 crew cab truck, to turn real well. So, limited just by the unique shape of the lot and the easement that's through there. So,
Is there canopies across, over top of the, there's no canopies over the,
no, not for the back.
not of the vacuums, okay. Yeah, maybe if you can get a better rendering of those areas prior to, if the board, the committee moves this forward to the next step, to the planning board, maybe if you have a rendering at the planning board, it would be beneficial, so they really see what it's going to look like. It's a setback that you're asking for, so, yep.
I'm glad that's going on now.
Yeah, no problem. Yep. I don't have any further questions.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Rich, you got anything? Art, Judy, good.
Yeah, I'd like to go over to Vineland and see it.
So what's our pleasure here?
I think it should go to the planning board.
That would require us to go ahead and move forward with this redevelopment plan.
Mr. Mayor, if I can,
Not yet.
one thing with regard to that MUA easement, just so the committee's aware of the genesis from that. I think the original concept plan that Bod Wash came in with showed the building right over top of the easement. So that's why that language was incorporated as written. Again, what they're seeking is to, I guess, use a little softer language, basically saying to work with the applicable MUA, be it HTMUA, EHTMUA, or ACUA, whichever entity. I have been in contact with the HTMUA engineer, so they're aware of, and they have a copy of the concept plan. And they indicated that it's an EHT easement. So they were going to check in with them to see if there were any issues, but
That force main doesn't belong to the ACMUA?
no.
So I hadn't seen the first rendering, so I'm assuming what happened was we just pushed everything up to the street from the first rendering. Is that accurate? Not accurate?
I hadn't seen the first version of it either. That was back last year.
I believe the first rendering had the other building.
Yeah, the first rendering, if I remember correctly, the building was turned more of an angle to try to work with the easement. There was too many improvements that were on top of the easement, not per se the building, but things that if they had to be disrupted would shut the operation down. So the idea was to move the building completely out of that and scale out. That if you had a detour around, you could still make something work and not close the time if any work was done there. So, and that initially did have a access off of the block of light in only. That we worked with the traffic consultant. Get that modular. So that was the part. It's been a couple of years of figuring out with mod wash and what the site works with the different professionals to come up with what you see here. And as part of this.
So in the original plan, the whole, I know it's the vacuums, but it's 12 feet off the road, 15 feet off the road.
Okay, so maybe we can,
Was it like that before?
can we look at the I think they were more on an angle. I believe they were still towards the front, and the owner Karen Hutton with all of it. That is what they want to see is the vacuums at the front of it. That's what brings the customer in, and so that is kind of like part of their sales or their advertising.
So committee?
So, Bob, just to reiterate, if we allow this to go forward, the planning board can change what we see here or cannot?
They can still make comments to the plan, request of what they are in there, and they'll come back to you guys, and then you can vote on it then. Further comments. And I think they have to provide a better rendering of what those may look like, and maybe perhaps they're not pink, and it could be white, and something blended in, more aesthetically pleasing along the Black Horse Pike. But
They're a tougher group than we are, by the way.
Just that makes sense. I mean, if we come with the rendering, I think that was always the protocol, right? It would go to the.
We're following protocol, that's why I'm giving you that advance notice.
Before you vote on, right. So, I think it's good to have this discussion now. We can provide a rendering, we can talk to the Monowash folks and just look at some different colors, what we do in that space. It is limited. As you can see, you can't really push it back. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Go all the way over. It's only one site now, not two. It's a little challenging, and that may be why it's sitting there so long.
I think we can work with it. They also are kind of restricted due to that new DOT infrastructure they put on the property, because we could have moved the roadway a little bit further to the west or east. I'm sorry. Yeah. But it's literally right up against it, right there, coming out of the Black Horse Pike. So they're limited in that green space to design. But this is the safest vehicular access to this, so for this operation. The one before, they were never going to get it past DOT with the openings they showed for it. So,
Is the new road volunteer way also?
yeah, it'll be called volunteer way.
Okay. The new road between where basically you punch in your credit card for your car wash and the new road, there's a lot of space there. I don't know, would you be able to take the front road of vacuums along the Black Horse Pike and put them in there and just have a driveway going out to the new road, an exit driveway?
The way it works is it's a serpentine type pattern to it. So
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
it's a serpentine pattern that you have to use on the site to get in. So when you come through the pay station first before you access the vacuum, it's free when you buy the car wash. Otherwise, people will come.
Yeah,
in.
so if you went to the pay station, got your car washed, and you didn't have the vacuums along the Black Horse Pike, you had them along the building, which you show. And then for overflow, you could turn around and go right parallel to the pay station and have vacuums right in that area right there with a driveway out to the new road.
Yeah, I don't know. You'd have to kind of look at that in a little more detail.
Yeah.
Again, it's F-250 turning radiuses and what they can do.
Oh, by all means, yeah.
But I mean that's
The other issue with that, Mr. Jake, is that access road by the pay station, the right-hand side, that line butts right up against that utility easement, the MUA easement, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, just looking,
So why 22 vacuum cleaners?
it's a model that goes with the sales. They do a forecast in the area, similar to other locations. And they have a ratio of how many cars they think they can accommodate as to how many need the vacuum.
Okay. Is that everywhere you build, you do 20?
Now, some locations that will not be as busy as this location, there are less. Not many less, maybe a handful less, but it's a shorter car wash building too, and it processes less cars. So
Okay.
Again, it's a numbers or prospective customer number.
Okay.
How they come up with it.
Yeah, I just don't, just sitting here thinking about car washes in the area, I don't know of any of that have anywhere near 22. So.
And you can
It's a lot.
only go through the car wash to get to the
That is correct.
vacuums, right?
By design.
Is that how all mod washes work?
Yes.
The one previously, the one that you had sent before, was two-way traffic.
Yeah, and that was that did not have the immediate attention of the
Okay. I'm just
president of this Hutton.
I'm just checking.
Yeah, that's why you're not seeing that.
Okay.
or if anything, look for different vacuums.
Well, I think they'll figure it out by the time.
I appreciate all your input. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So,
I think we're good.
I motion that we go and approve it. Send it to the planning board.
It's under 5C.
what's that?
The action is under 5C.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I mean, you can move it up if you want, I just,
Bob, are you comfortable with this moving to the planning board? You have your concerns?
I think they're gonna have something presented to the planning board.
Okay, and
I'll come back to you guys.
it's good that they heard some of these concerns tonight, so that, okay,
I wanted to put it on record.
thank you, appreciate that.
I say we go right to 5C.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So 5C, ordinance 2058-2023, an ordinance adopting a redevelopment plan for block 1317, lots 1301, 1302, and 15, which is 1956 McKee Avenue, and 4120 and 4148 Black Horse Pike, Township of Hamilton, Atlantic County, State of New Jersey. Public hearing to be held on December 18th.
A question. Phil?
Yeah.
How is this, the way we're doing this with hearing the presentation and doing this the same night, how does that work with our chart? Is it consistent or is it not consistent?
What the chart calls for is public presentation is item 6A. And if the plan is acceptable, then it would be, again, you determine if it's acceptable or not. And if so, then you would introduce the ordinance and make the referral to the planning
So
board.
that can
Yes.
all happen tonight?
Yeah.
So this is,
Our chart, okay.
Good question.
Yeah, I just want to make sure.
so let me just chime in. Nick Ranieri, Melly Givens, Redevelopment Council. So this is the first reading of the ordinance. The plan will go to the planning board. We'll do a referral to the planning board. They have technically 45 days to review it. For master plan consistency, and then I guess we have December 18th, it'll be back up for public hearing. So the planning board could make changes to it, and the attorney had mentioned that, you know, there's updated elevations that we have to submit that came in after we submitted the plan, and there was the HTMUA easement, the easing of that language, we'll get that to the township before it goes off to the planning board. So there were some things that, as you mentioned, the updated elevations that changed after we submitted the plan to the township. So we'll get that all taken care of, and then we'll get it over to the planning board.
Thank you.
So do we have a motion?
Did you made a motion,
I
correct?
don't know. Do we have a motion? I'll motion on 5C.
I'll second.
Have a motion, a second, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Chief?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
No.
Mr. Schenker?
Yes.
Mayor Patali?
Yes.
3 yes, 1 no, motion carries.
Moving on. Public hearing. Ordinance 2055-2023, an ordinance authorizing the sale of lots 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and block 504 as shown on the tax map of the Township of Hamilton, and granting to the owner or owners of said real property contiguous to same the right to prior refusal to purchase such land in the Township of Hamilton, County of Atlantic, and State of New Jersey. This is a public hearing. Does anybody wish to speak?
Where is Jefferson Avenue at?
Jefferson Avenue is,
It's out in Mizpah. off
yeah,
of Route
Mizpah off of,
Route 40.
I noticed there's one on Route 50 heading into
no,
Egg Harbor.
no. Mizpah.
Escalway anyway, where I think.
Mizpah.
Okay.
Okay?
Thanks a lot.
Anyone else from the public?
Motion to close public?
I have a motion to close. I'll second it.
Second, I'm sorry.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Do I hear a motion?
Motion to move?
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Chief?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Mr. Shanker?
Yes.
Mayor Patali?
Yes.
All yes and adopted.
Public hearing, ordinance 2056, 2023, an ordinance to vacate a portion of 30th Street described by meets and bounds and located in the Township of Hamilton, Atlantic County, New Jersey. This is a public hearing. Anybody from the public wish to speak?
Motion to close?
I have a motion.
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Make a motion to move ordinance 2056, 2023.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Chief?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Mr. Shanker?
Yes.
Mayor Patali?
Yes.
All yes and adopted.
Five A. Ordinance 2054-2023, an ordinance amending ordinance 1963-2021 as amended by ordinances 1989, 2002, and 2023-2022, and to establish redevelopment project review process.
Mr. Mayor, this has previously been tabled. This ordinance are the amendments to the cannabis regulations as far as total number of licenses. Again, as indicated in the summary, modifies the total number of licenses available, reduces it from the current maximum of 81 down to a total of 14. It codifies both of the flow charts, both the redevelopment flow chart and the cannabis redevelopment flow charts, and they're included as Appendix A and B of the ordinance. Also on the cannabis flow chart, there is text as requested. We included text advising applicants that they need to provide Township Committee with updates at least every 6 months or risk having their endorsement rescinded. Changes the way that the distance separation of most cannabis facilities from places such as schools, parks, recreational facilities, churches, etc. Didn't change the uses, just trying to be a little shorthand here, but from 1,000-foot building to building to 1,000-foot property line to property line. There are 2 properties that are exempted. They're listed in Appendix C. They're existing endorsed properties in the IBP zone. One of them is Fresh Cut, which was just back for before you, and I had their MOU/escrow agreement extended. The other one is for Waves of Green. Those 2 are within 1,000 feet property line to property line from a school facility for one, and the second one is a church. And finally, with Class 5 retail, the distance separation has been increased to 2,500 feet property line to property line from any school or school facility. And also deletes Class 5 retail as a permitted use in the industrial IBP zone.
Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry, I wanted to recuse myself, so.
Okay. So we'll be going, Class 1 cultivator licenses down to total of 5.
Correct.
Class 2 manufacturer license down to 3.
Correct.
Wholesale license down to 1. Distributor license down to 1. Retail license 3. And delivery license 1.
Correct.
And then, like you said, the changes in the
Distances. Correct.
I must reiterate my objection to the cannabis in the industrial park. And I'm very unhappy to see it still existing, so I cannot go along with this. But that's my answer.
I'd like to make a note that the cannabis, 3 of the licenses are that have number 1s next to them, wholesaler, distributor, and delivery license aren't necessarily there because we wanted them there. They're there because they were put into the plan when it was initiated with the state that we must have all 6 licenses. So they're there with a 1 next to them because we have no choice. And I think it's a substantial decrease from what we had, where we are now. It's taking control of this, being a little more careful where the stuff ends up. I'll make a motion.
I have a motion.
To move it.
I'll second it. Roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Lang?
No.
Mr. Schenker?
Yes.
Mayor Patali?
Yes.
2 yes, 1 no. It's introduced.
And just for the record, similar to the mod wash application, this is being referred to later on to the planning board for their review and recommendation.
Okay.
So that the public hearing would be on December 18th.
Okay, we pulled B, and we already voted on C. Moving on to 6A. Authorize engineering services to Mott Watkins Associate LLC for design, permitting, construction, inspection, and architectural services for Underhill Park ADA and fencing project in the amount of $95,000.
Motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Chief?
Yes.
Mrs. Lang?
Yes.
Mr. Schenker?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, and carried.
Six B, resolution to award Remington and Verdict, Remington and Verdict Engineers LSRP services for 7432 Smith Avenue in the amount of $14,800. Brett, can you give us a little, just a little background on this?
Sure. This is a property that the township took in foreclosure back in 2019. It was discovered after we took the property that there are 2 open DEP matters on the site that need to be closed out with an LSRP. And we got a proposal from Remington and Burnick to close these matters out for us.
And then once these are closed out, we can,
well, once they're closed out, hopefully we can sell the property.
yes.
Is this simply a service that looks at it, or does it actually address those problems?
Now this is, so what they'll do is they'll give us direction on how to address the problems. But what will happen immediately is the fees that are associated with these open issues will pause.
And what are those fees?
Right now, we have a fee of $9,000 and another one for $5,000. There's two open matters on the site.
So by doing this, we take that to a halt and then we begin to do what has to be done.
Right.
Very good.
Do I hear a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Chief?
Yes.
Mrs. Blank?
Yes.
Mr. Shanker?
Yes.
Mayor Patali?
Yes. Resolution authorizing Cynthia Lindsay, CFO, to execute the agreement and award a contract to Bowman and Company LLP of Voorhees, New Jersey, to provide professional services to the township for the administration of the Section 125 cafeteria plan for the 2024 plan year, amount not to exceed $2,000.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Chief?
Yes.
Mrs. Blank?
Yes.
Mr. Shanker?
Yes.
Mayor Patali?
Yes.
Oh, yes, and carried.
Consent agenda. I know, want to pull U and V.
Yes. I'll move everything but U and V.
Didn't we have on the agenda to take one off?
Oh, we added one.
Oh, we added one?
BB.
Yeah, so I have a motion to move A through T and then W through BB. About a second?
W through.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Okay. So, U and V.
Mr. Mayor, I wanted these separated from the consent agenda because I think it needs to be noted that U is a resolution of the Township of Hamilton rescinding local support for Sipcoy, New Jersey LLC for its Class 5 retail cannabis license and application to New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission. Sipcoy was the retail that was going to be in the industrial park, and it will no longer be in the industrial park. I don't believe retail belongs in the industrial park. So I hope that we never have to have this conversation again. The second one, V, is a resolution of Hamilton Township rescinding local support for ENV Growers LLC, which is a Class 1 adult use cultivation license application to New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission. This is another one inside the industrial park, which is being told we no longer give you our support simply because it's been over a year for these.
For ENV, yes. It's been over a year with them. Also, they have received site plan approval to develop in the city of Absecon.
Yes. So this is one of the reasons why we put the stipulation in the ordinance on a timeline is because of this reason. We're seeing where there's a lot of these types of developers that are going 2 different places, 3 different places, and hoping for the best at one of them. I think in the future we only need to be concerned with people who have one desire, and that is to come here, and it all depends on where they're at. So how many does this, if we accept these, how many does this bring us to in the industrial park? I know there's one that's a little further along.
There would be three uses in the industrial park.
Okay.
Waves of Green on block 994, lot 39.
Right.
Fresh Cut on 994, lots 35 and 36. and Canna Grove on block 991, lot 23.01.
Okay. And they have all responded that they are still moving
Yes,
forward.
Fresh Cut was just here.
Yes,
And,
I understand.
yes, we have received correspondence from the others.
Okay.
Phil, can you give us the roads in which
Okay.
they're located, please?
Start with Canna Grove. That is the larger lot right at the intersection of Cantillon Boulevard and Oakwood Boulevard on the Mays Landing Summers Point Road side, the dead end there. Fresh Cut Cannabis, they were just here before. They're on Cedarwood Boulevard, I guess right by before it curves to go back towards Cantillon. And Waves of Green, they are on Oakwood Boulevard, very near the intersection with Cedarwood Boulevard. Well, again, on the landfill side of Oakwood.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to move U. Can I do both at the same time? U and V?
Sure.
Yeah. Let's do U and V then.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I abstain.
Against? All good.
3 yes.
One abstention.
There's some paperwork there. Good thing we're not killing any trees.
All right. Personnel. Appointment of Stacy Underwood as a part-time communications officer for the police department. Is there a motion?
Make the
Motion.
necessary, second?
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Chief?
Yes.
Mrs. Blank?
Yes.
Mr. Schenker?
Yes.
Mayor Talley?
Yes. Approvals, minutes, regular meeting minutes of October 16th, 2023.
So moved?
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against? Minutes, executive session meeting minutes of October 16th, 2023.
Motion.
Second?
Motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
Mrs. Blank?
Yes.
Mr. Schenker?
Yes.
Mayor Talley?
Yes.
Yes, and carried.
Minutes, special executive session meeting minutes of October 26th, 2023.
So
So
moved?
moved.
Second?
Motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Chief?
Yes.
Mrs. Blank?
Yes.
Mr. Schenker?
Yes.
Mayor Talley?
Yes.
Oh, yes, and carried.
Bills.
You can do that.
Turn this over to Rita for a second.
Yes. The mayor would like to abstain from one bill, so what we're going to do is do two separate resolutions. So the first one would be a resolution authorizing payment of purchase order 23-01068 to Landberg Construction in the amount of $175,446.95. Have a motion and a second.
So moved?
This is for Lambert. Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Mr. Schenker?
Yes.
Mayor Patali?
I abstain because my current employer has provided material to Lambert.
3 yes, 1 abstention, motion carries. And then the second would be for the balance of the bill list, totaling $7 million, no. $7,560,054.96.
So moved?
Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Excuse me.
Mr. Chief?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Mr. Schenker?
Yes.
Mayor Patali?
Yes.
All yes and carried.
Reports. Mr. Administrator.
I just want to thank Phil one more time. It's been a pleasure. Thanks, Phil.
Mr. Solicitor.
Mayor, just like to report that we are about 50% completed in the review of the files that came over from the prior law firm. It's expected that we should have that completed by the end of next week, and it is our intent at that point in time to have a sort of a synopsis broken down into what the different areas are, and so somebody would be able to look at and get an idea of what the items are there, what's open, what needs to be done. That's it. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Mr. Engineer.
Yeah, I did submit a engineer's report. I'm sorry. Just happy to say that all the road programs are completed to date, so they all came out very satisfactory. Arrowec did a great job getting them done. We are under construction at Leapy Field for the concession stand. The septic system is completed. The foundation is completed. They started the walls today on the building. I think all four corners are erected, and plumbing will start within the next week or so inside. And the parking lot has been completed, and striping was done today. So it looks a little different down there. If anybody's been down there,
I went out there Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah. While the hockey coaches were having a meeting, so I got jumped.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
But no, they're very pleased.
Yeah.
They all seem very happy. Looking forward to be able to park on it and
yeah,
the lines painted. So
they're allowed to park on it now, so it's good. And then as the proposal was approved tonight, we have started work on the Underhill Park ADA project. The architect is starting preliminary plans for the renovations of the bathrooms at a concession stand, which would be a great asset to the summer come out there for baseball. And then also we're starting engineering drawings as well. We did have a meeting with the Hamilton Mall maintenance representatives last week, and they are still moving forward from what they said, and they should be out there this winter starting to mow and remediate some of those basins.
Excellent.
That is it.
Very good. Committee members, Mr. Cheek.
Thank you. I was not at the veterans festivities. I was out of town. I'm sorry to hear that. And I wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving. That's it.
Mrs. Link.
I was at the Veterans Day celebration, and it was very good to hear from the general that spoke to us. It was a very impressive service, and I think Mays Landing should be proud of that. And as I say, we're moving fast towards Christmas, and soon we'll have Santa make his way down to the lighting ceremony starting in December, so that would be great. Other than that, that's good. No comment.
Mr. Schenker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd just like to also comment about, I was at the Veterans Day ceremony. It was a great ceremony. A lot of people showed up thanking Public Works, and I want to thank the fire department for bringing the big American flag, as they always do, which is always a nice touch. But one thing that really stuck out to me is that I learned that Dr. Thelma Witherspoon has pipes. She can sing.
She does.
So we were graced with a rendition of the national anthem and God Bless America. And I was like having a little mini concert. So I wish she was here. But anyway, it was very nice. And I want to thank everybody who came out, everybody that participated. I also want to thank the people who came out and voted last Tuesday. Really appreciate the support. And I want to thank you for giving me 3 more years to sit up here and help guide the township forward. The last but not least, Phil, we've been together for quite a few years. And Phil was there when we started this redevelopment ordinance process. And it was a tough time putting it all together, and I appreciate all your help. It wasn't an easy thing then, and then coming back to kind of reinvent it. This last time you were a big help of putting this on the right track. So I appreciate it, and I'm going to miss having you around. So thank you personally. Mr. Mayor, that's all I have.
Very good. Echo Mr. Schenker's, what he had to say about Veterans Day. It was a beautiful day. Dr. Witherspoon, yeah, she can sing. And that was quite the surprise. But of course, thank you all the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, Fire Department, Public Works, the Police Department. Everybody did a great job. And it was a great day. Some things coming up. So we have Small Business Saturday, and that's Saturday, November 25th, from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. It's sponsored by Zen Landing Wellness Studio on Main Street. And I think they had it the last 2 years, I believe. I know it was definitely last year. They had some stuff going on in Zen Landing. Some crafters there, and just trying to get people to come down on Main Street and do some shopping and check things out on Main Street. And it goes well because that's the night of the tree lighting. Saturday, November 25th, 6 p.m., War Memorial Park. Santa will be there. Come on down. Dickens of a Holiday Craft Show, Saturday, December 2nd, and that's from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. At 3 locations, at War Memorial Park, at the library, and at the Presbyterian Church. And that's brought to us by the Hamilton Historical Society. And then also there's a holiday music concert, and the Western Atlantic Wind Ensemble will be there, and that's Wednesday, December 13th at 7:30 p.m. at the Presbyterian Church in the Fellowship Hall. And that's a free event, so come on down, get into the Christmas spirit. And yes, Christmas is coming up, so everybody, I hope you do some shopping locally. I hope you do some shopping at the Hamilton Mall. Support our businesses. We need that. We need them to be successful. So I know, everybody does. I'm guilty of it. We all buy online, but get out and see some people and enjoy yourself. Grab something to eat out at the mall or one of the restaurants, whatever. But please go to the mall, and please, when you're out there, be careful. Keep an eye out on your bags. Make sure you're paying attention to what's going on. Situational awareness. Be safe. Be smart, and keep an eye out on everybody else too. And I think that's pretty much it. Reagan, I'll talk to you later. Maddie, I miss you. I love you, and I hope to see you soon. So I will open it up to the public. Come on down.
William Berner, Jr. I'm here to get your approval for farmland preservation.
Yes, we got a letter from
Board of Agriculture.
the Atlantic County Board of Agriculture.
Yes.
Yeah, we have that.
So I don't know how, when this was brought up.
It's not appropriate for us to give comment. If the gentleman wants to say something about it,
Okay.
he's welcome to say something about it.
Well, I just want the approval.
It's not appropriate at this time.
No.
Never heard that before, Chuck.
We have a situation where this has been brought up before, back in 2021, and was denied. And it is, there's zoning issues, and all that the individual is asking for is approval for this based off a letter from the county Board of Agriculture. This has to go through the process to be reviewed, And that's just, so it's improper for the committee to comment on this at this time.
So it has to get rezoned?
Well, it depends on whether or not it does get rezoned. But if it were to be something that were looked at, yes, it would have to be rezoned.
Tell me what I have to do.
Could he make another application and that we would actually vote on?
Mr. Mayor, if I may, perhaps the best thing is to refer this to the planning board, since ultimately their recommendation would be what you would act on. That's, the use is allowed or something that they evaluate all the time, correct, Bob?
Yep.
So that, let them weigh in and provide you the guidance that you need.
That's exactly where it has to go.
So, who takes it there?
The individual who wants to have it changed.
Okay.
So he has to go before the planning board, make application to be on the
Correct.
planning.
So, what does he have to do? Go to the zoning office?
Because we municipalities this week, a lot of staff's going to be out of the zoning office. Friday, if you either
because of the
and ask to speak to Debbie Owen, the land use administrator.
Okay.
I'll make sure she gets a copy of this letter, and circulate it to the board professionals. And
Yeah, I think I talked to her once before, and she wanted to give me a whole group of papers to go through. I mean, just...
Yeah. You would have to, yeah, I think it's got to go through the zoning board to see if it's even permitted as a permitted use or,
Planning board first.
We'll have to modify the zoning. Recommend changing zoning.
well, yeah. Yes. I don't think it's in front of this committee at all, correct?
No, it's not.
Okay, so then there's no discussion at this time?
No.
Okay,
We'll have to come back to this committee later?
at this
No.
committee, no.
So it's the planning or the zoning? Planning.
Planning board. That's the way I see it.
You're going to talk to Debbie? Okay. All right.
All right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Jason Howell, Pinelands Preservation Alliance. Just wanted to support this application or consideration of adding Pleasant Valley Farm to the county's farmland preservation program. It is a historic farm. Everyone I've talked to has indicated that it is a really important and historic asset for the township, for New Jersey. And yeah, it's just a funny situation where the farm has been zoned out of farming. You know, it was zoned growth area, and with the ADA, I believe that they need farming to be, or agriculture to be, a conditional use in the zone. So right now, that's not the case. So that, my understanding is that's what needs to be changed, is either allowing farming as a conditional use or changing the zoning. But yeah, it's a really great place. I've been buying apples there for years. You know, you can always go to Walmart and get apples from New York State or Washington State, but you can get apples right down the street in Hamilton Township. I think it's a really nice thing.
Frank Shainstein, current member of Atlantic County Board of Ag, was vice president, and a member of the Atlantic County Board of Ag Development Board. We support this motion. Hopefully it does go in Bill's favor. Agriculture is very important, and there's a lot of property behind him that's preserved, and by doing more development, the area is, with all the rain and everything, the system cannot handle it, because I worked before that. I worked for DOT, and I am familiar with the flooding in the area, The infrastructure cannot take it, where open farmland, water can drain. If there's construction or anything, it just builds up. And so all I can say is support local farmers and Jersey Fresh. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else for public comment?
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Jim Link, 676 Park Road, 763 Park Road. First, I'd like to congratulate Phil on your retirement. Phil came to us at a pretty at a crossroads in planning. He helped us with a builder's right on New York Avenue and Route 40, and helped us, Tom Palmentary, myself, and the rest of the committee, to mitigate that builder's remedy to a rather how should I say, reasonable conclusion. And he also helped us eliminate 15,000 housing units from the Pinelands Comprehensive Management Plan. So, Phil, you did a great job there. And also, he's a great roller hockey coach. You did a great job for us at Young Skating Center. We appreciate that, too. So there's always a place for you at the rink, too, Phil. Appreciate it. But regarding the application that the informal presentation made this evening, now, this may have changed because it was a long time ago, but I was on the planning board, and we gave preliminary and final site plan approval to a car wash facility / automotive, retailer on the lot of ground just across the street from the entrance to Hamilton Green. Do these people know that? I mean, they've got everything. And if the owners are still paying taxes on that, I believe that those approvals stay with the land. Okay? And I'm wondering, perhaps, again, my memory, deserts me here, but they might want to take a look at that because all the approvals are there. Okay? But I don't know if it fits their corporate cookie cutter design. We got the McDonald's of car washes going into an area that you need another shoehorn to get in. That's 5 pounds of stuff in a 2-pound bag. It's not real good planning. Okay? I don't want to see, as was, mentioned to me when we were in the planning board, that we don't want to see the Black Horse Pike turn into Cherry Hill. Well, I don't want to see it turn into the Delsey Drive either. Okay? My gut reaction, I could be wrong because I don't know all the facts, but it seems to me that in a desperate move to get ratables, and I agree with you, I understand the problem. That's not the way to do it. That's kind of, in my book, poor planning. So I would wish that reach out to the people at the planning board. Maybe they can reach out to those owners. Maybe there's something going to be done rather than stick something there, which might be the most advantageous place for the applicant and not so advantageous for the people of the township. Thank you. Oh, by the way, as campaign manager, I'd like to take this opportunity to publicly congratulate Art and Bobby Laws in a campaign that was, it was contentious, but it was good. It was heated. Brought a lot of things up, and congratulations to you guys. Going into this, that putting yourselves in that position isn't going to be easy. We got it. We got your back. We are your loyal opposition, however. Okay? But we're confident that you guys will do what's right for the township. So congratulations on winning those seats. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Teresa DeRose from Laureldale. Speaking of people with pipes, Mayor Patali, you have the biggest pipes because every time you open your mouth about the food pantry, it gets filled. So maybe you can get some police and firemen out there. Do something to get the firemen, bulk up their ranks there because you get the food pantry done, you get all these other things done, get this done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion to close.
Have a motion? Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion to close meeting?
Second?
She can first, I'll second.
Okay, cool. All those in favor?
Bob.
Aye.
I thought